In this video I want to talk about nuclear weapons and how they relate to God. If you're somebody who considers himself to be of the world, a secular person, an atheist, it makes total sense that you would care about nuclear weapons. Like when somebody in authority, in power, talks about nuclear weapons and how the problem of nuclear weapons needs to be addressed and things like that, it totally makes sense that you would listen and care about that. You don't believe in God, you don't believe in the power of God, you don't know the man who overcame the world and its corrupt ways. You don't believe in the resurrection. You don't believe in renewal. You don't have much hope or trust or faith in anything really. So that leaves you with a gaping wound, right? The person with the biggest stick is gonna use to convince you of the things that he wants you to believe as he asserts control of the world. That makes total sense to me. If you're somebody who says that he believes in God, he professes his faith, and you care about nuclear weapons, I don't understand. Because that to me just screams, this is a massive signal that I don't actually believe in God. And when I talk about the resurrection and believe in heaven or anything like that, it's just lip service. Because Christ calls us not into danger, but to overcome the danger through it. We're supposed to face our battles, face them boldly, with courage, because we have this faith, this what is essentially a power through God to act in a way that empowers us, This is something that even like people who believe in false gods or are misled by Satan, they misuse it and they, for example, do like horrible things, even at the cost of their own lives. You're somebody who is supposed to do what's right, what's wise, what's good, right? Even at the cost of your own life. Because there's no greater love than laying down your life for your brothers. And this is a commandment that you believe in. This is like an insight into your own nature that you believe in. So it doesn't make sense for somebody who professes faith in God to then go and think like the world does, like an animal, being controlled by fears because they have such great concern for their own life. Right? But that's what you see. There are people who use other people's lives as cover for their own also. When it comes to discussion about war and weapons and nukes and things like this, things that glorify death and killing and, godlessness. They will use somebody else's life as cover for their own. And I don't just mean in terms of like literal life. I mean also, for example, there are people who made, their livelihood, their careers out of discussing things and appearing to know what they're talking about, being very wise in the eyes of the world, having big audiences and stuff like that, who will use somebody else's life as cover for their own intellectuality, for example, the thing that they're selling and pushing. You can get so lost into these things that you miss out on the big picture, that this is like animal reasoning. You are somebody who's designed to be a higher life form than an animal, and you're spending your abilities in this animal domain. That's what I'm like railing against. It's like a degradation of the image of God. We are for greater things. The world teaches people to think like animals, right? It says animals are better than people. We need to humanize them, right? And then we treat them in a way that's like corrupt, like our dogs, and they never learn their lessons. I'm actually talking about my own mom. He does not know how to train animals because he thinks that they're like people basically. And that just leads to her like screaming and tucking the leash when the dog doesn't listen, you know, she's failing. And then the world teaches that it is wise and important that you believe in things like game theory when it comes to nuclear weapons. Like, this is how we have to think. Those people have weapons. If we have weapons also, then there is this mutual destruction and it's very intelligent. Like, I remember being a kid and thinking that with my friend because we would, you know, fight. You know, not serious fights, but enough to like be kind of annoying. And we remember laughing about it, that there's kind of like a mutual destruction if we go too far, because I don't think anybody's gonna win. Even though both of us thought that we are gonna win. Like, this is something that we did as boys. But the world never matured past that point, because it doesn't believe in anything except the guy who has the biggest stick. Right? And that's kind of what you're seeing. This is the news that the highly educated, you know, professors and journalists are yapping on about. Nobody's talking about this fundamental error of the world, you know, the wisdom of the world is foolishness before God, that you're all thinking like animals, like just afraid for your own life, your own survival, natural selection. It's all about self-preservation for you. That's something that Christ specifically spoke against, because we aren't like the animal that has to be just afraid of the sharpest teeth. We have something in us. We are made in the image of God. That means we can aspire and achieve, even through God, through Christ, like greater purposes. And if these aren't met, we live a kind of unsatisfying beast-like life. And that's the thing that is preaching into the world. It's gospel, which is not the good news. It's like I'm watching a bunch of cavemen with suits on. And I'm not even part of it, but I'm still here in the world. This is, I think, the place that most people who find God and will walk through the gate, the narrow gate to life, this is the place that you find yourself in. Like, you're just looking at people, worldly people who don't know what the F they are doing. That's what Trump said. I think those were like the first honest words that came out of his mouth in a long time. Like, it was sincere when he cursed. The president of the United States cursed like that, talking about Israel and Iran not knowing what they're doing. But that's a leader. That's just the guy with the biggest stick. That was the extent of his authentic insight into things. Like, it's a sign of the times that this is where we find ourselves. And it's because it is so remarkably defeated the way people are reasoning. They're reasoning like beasts. The mark of the beast is very close to anybody who cares about nuclear weapons. And this is twice as true for the person who professes with their mouth that they believe in God, because with their very words, with their very concerns, with their worries, maybe with even their actions, they constantly disprove the faith that they are trying to profess. We are the ones who follow the one who overcame the world, and that means we have to have the same kind of aspirations, qualities, desires. Like, if you reason according to the nuclear bomb, which is just the biggest stick, then your faith is the thing that should be like fighting against it non-stop. Like, there should be this battle going on inside you. There can be no peace in anybody who reasons like the world and then believes in God in a way that's authentic. There has to be a battle, and the good guys must win. Your faith must become much greater than the false reasoning of the world. And then the reasoning will be corrected. It becomes something that's according to God's reasoning, which is like the very foundation of everything. It's the mind of Christ. Nothing was created that didn't come through him. I wanted to talk about this video. Be very careful of anybody who tries to touch you emotionally, in your emotions. Emotions, they don't really get spoken of in the Bible at all, because the heart is the thing that deceives us, right? But if you reason according to God, then the emotions will, you get to enjoy them in a way that's correct, that's righteous, it's not corrupted and twisted, that's not illogical. It's something that's forever. God bless you guys. Stop thinking like animals. We are called for something greater.